Okay, most are unaware that there's a new financial system being built on the blockchain. These are open systems that provide many of the same services that you get at traditional banks: borrowing, lending, payment solutions, trading, and a lot more. At a bank, you'd be lucky if you get a 2% return on the money you have deposited in a bank. But in DeFi, I'll be able to show you how you can earn between 20% on the low end up to 250% on your cryptocurrency assets. So let me introduce you to the world of decentralized finance, also called DeFi. So just to give you a brief rundown of what we're going to be talking about, we're going to look at blockchain identities, we're going to look at custody of digital assets, centralized exchanges. We're going to be looking at what is DeFi, what is a DEX, what are liquidity pools, how do we do liquidity mining, and then how do we generate passive income through liquidity mining. So don't worry if you don't know what these words mean. We're going to go right into it. My name is Tristan Jones, and I bought my first Bitcoin in 2017, and ever since I've been totally obsessed with this technology. I'm now living in Mexico, and through the use of DeFi services, I'm earning in excess of $5,000 a month through liquidity mining. Prior to getting involved with cryptocurrency, I had a normal career. I worked as a technology auditor for leading financial companies. I've held certifications as an information systems auditor, information systems manager, also ethical hacker, and currently I hold a certification as a certified blockchain solution architect. So all of this is to say, my background is in technology, not finance. So I am not a financial advisor. Through our sessions, I'll be showing you how to use the technology to take advantage of the opportunities that are there to generate passive income. On the blockchain, identities are not users, names, or passwords. They are key pairs, just like you see on the screen. They are a public key and a private key that are cryptographically or mathematically related to each other. The public key is used to receive funds. That's a key that you can share publicly and people can send you money. The private key is something that you should hold private, and it's used to sign transactions and also to send funds. Okay? So actually inside your wallet, what you have is actually your private key. And we'll get into that more when we get into wallets and setting up wallets. Now, in order to buy cryptocurrencies, you need to go to an exchange, something like Coinbase or Kraken or Binance. And these exchanges allow you to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Atom. You should know that when you buy cryptocurrencies on these exchanges, that the exchange has full custody of those cryptocurrencies. They manage the custody. That's because they control the private key for everything that's on that exchange. Now, in DeFi, in order to really take advantage of DeFi, it's important that you have custody of your keys. And that is critical because you'll need full custody if you want to take advantage of all of the services that are there in DeFi. One of the sites I go to almost every day is CoinGecko. CoinGecko lists all of the cryptocurrencies. There's over 13,000 cryptocurrencies. Most of the time, I don't really look at anything below the top 50. But on this site, you can get information about Bitcoin. You can get information about where it's traded, about what the trading volume was, and you can get more information about the beginning of the cryptocurrency and other details, usually about the team or the white paper. So this is a great resource for learning about cryptocurrencies, CoinGecko. With the invention of blockchain and distributed computing, the world is changing. We're moving from centralized solutions and services to decentralization. In the chart here, we can compare some of the major attributes of centralization versus decentralization. So third-party involvement, Centralized, yes, there is third-party involvement. Decentralized, no. Transactions in a decentralized solution are peer-to-peer or peer-to-protocol. There are no people involved. There's no third party. Control, let's look at control. In a centralized solution, the control remains with the central authority. In a decentralized solution, the control remains with the user itself. As far as points of failure, in centralized solutions, they are prone to failure because they are centralized. They're prone to be hacked or they're prone to suffer data leaks. In decentralized solutions, they are less prone to hacking or data leaks because they are dispersed. In centralized solutions, the fees are higher because you have to pay various parties or stakeholders that are involved in every transaction. In decentralized solutions, the fees are lower because the transactions are direct. As far as censorship is concerned, in centralized solutions, yes, there's censorship. Centralized parties can determine who can get involved, who has access, who does not. They can also stop transactions or they can place limits. But in decentralized solutions, there's no censorship. Every transaction is treated the same, so censorship is not possible. It's simply computer code. It always responds in the same way. As far as anonymity, centralized solutions do not offer anonymity. Your identity is known. There's usually KYC when you sign up or when you use a service. In decentralized solutions, your identity, you can remain anonymous. You do not have to reveal your identity. So yeah, the world is changing. Think about it. Do you know the difference between centralized and decentralized? You know how to be able to recognize that? Would you say the internet is centralized or decentralized? Is Facebook centralized or decentralized? And what about CNN? Is it centralized or decentralized? Bitcoin? What about Coinbase? So we're moving to a world where not only is our money going to be decentralized, but also information is going to be decentralized and financial services are going to be decentralized. Following the invention of Bitcoin in 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto, he invented Bitcoin, which actually placed money. He turned money into digital code. He created digital scarcity on something called the blockchain. And once we have a digital money, then years later in 2020, we had something called Uniswap come along, which was truly probably the first DeFi service that was huge, that allowed us to do trading and swapping and so forth. And since then, many DeFi services have grown. But basically, what DeFi services are, based on the on blockchain protocols, and they enable new types of financial services that are built on computer code instead of traditional companies. And these protocols are open source, they're distributed, and they run on something called smart contracts. So a smart contract is something like an automated piece of code that always does the same thing with the same inputs. So you can think of it like a vending machine. A vending machine, the inputs could be your selection, it can be coins. You place your selection in, and then out comes whatever item you decided to buy, and also your change. Well, with smart contracts, we've been able to code services like lending and borrowing, exchange services, derivative service, payment services, and also asset management services that exist on the blockchain. And that's what we're going to go into when we dig into DeFi. Now, another site that I visit almost daily is called DeFi Llama, and it shows the total value locked. This is how much money is locked into each protocol. And on the chart at the top, we can see that the total value locked right now is 229 billion, as of April 2022. And as I stated earlier, about 2020 is when the DeFi space kind of started, and slowly it's been picking up speed and attracting more liquidity into these protocols. These are the protocols listed here, and you can see them ranked by total value locked. And this site is nice because you're able to see over time, is liquidity flowing into the protocol? Is it gaining more value? Curve, for example, has 21 billion locked in that protocol. Anchor protocol has 15.8 billion currently locked. It's up 37% in the last month. So this gives you an overview of all the DeFi services and where the money is flowing. Another website that I visit quite often is this one here called CoinDex. What it is it provides an inventory of the liquidity pools or vaults, some may call. These are trading pairs that are seeking liquidity, and liquidity providers are paid a return for providing liquidity. And here I have only the Osmosis chain selected, and you can get a view on the types of returns that are paid for, like Atom and Osmo, and a pool is paying 52.7% annual return. But on this website, you can actually get a view of thousands of trading pairs and places that are seeking liquidity. So you can get a nice overview. So when we have our sessions, we can explore all of the options that are there and the risk and reward trade-offs for each platform. Now, probably one of the easiest places to begin when we talk about liquidity mining is probably Osmosis. It has a great user interface. It's friendly. Um, it's simple to use. It's on the Cosmos ecosystem. It was really the first decentralized exchange, and these decentralized exchanges require liquidity providers to provide liquidity, to lock them up into pools. And for providing liquidity, you can see here that these pools are paying various returns. For example, this Juno Osmo pool is paying 100% APR. So these pools facilitate trades, and what's happening is users come to the Osmo exchange to trade, and those trades generate fees, and those fees are what's going back to the liquidity providers. So that's how you earn money um, through liquidity providing on Osmosis. What's also nice about Osmosis is that the payouts are done every day. So it's actually easy to see if you're getting the returns that are advertised. You simply take the amount of return that you receive per day, multiply that times 365, and then see if that matches up with the advertised annual return for the amount of funds that are bonded or locked up. And I can help you do that in our sessions. Now, you should also be aware there are risks associated with liquidity mining. And one of the risks that I help you navigate is that of impermanent loss. Impermanent loss is a risk because the assets that are inside of a liquidity pool need to remain balanced. Normally they're 50-50, so 50% of one asset versus the other. And it is possible that you could suffer impermanent loss when one asset rises in price and the other one doesn't, because then the pool will do a rebalancing and there's a possibility for impermanent loss. But I have a calculator that will help you calculate that impermanent loss. But I can tell you that the returns that you receive on Osmosis far outweigh any concern for impermanent loss. The other risk that you should be aware of is that the software could be hacked or be exploited, or a bridge could be attacked. If this were to happen, it would actually probably ruin the entire reputation of the entire platform. So far, that has not happened with Osmosis. I've been working with this site for more than 8 months since it began, and it has not suffered any hacks. There's also the risk of temporary loss. What this means that is that the assets that you select to bond, they also have a value, and the value of those can fluctuate up and down. So you want to be careful when you're selecting assets to bond that you bond assets that will hold their value over time. The other risk I want to point out is that of access risk. Any site is software, and there are administrators, and administrators have the ability to change the code. So you want to be aware of the arrangement for that website as far as how access rights are managed. And I can tell you that with Osmosis, they use something called multi-sig. No changes can happen to Osmosis, or actually most of the major liquidity providing sites, unless multiple parties approve the change before it can go into production. So in most cases, that risk is mitigated. Let's look at the passive income. This is why we're here. I mean, this is amazing. This is life changing. Um, you can see here if you bond $1,000 worth of assets at 75%, you're looking at $145 a month in new money. Okay, you still have access to the original bonded assets, and you can pull them out um, whenever you like. You can stop and get your money back out of the system. If you bond $10,000 worth of assets, then you're looking at $1,400. 30,000, you're looking at 4,375. I currently have about 60,000 bonded within Osmosis, and I'm earning well over $5,000 a month in passive income. Now, the thing is, most of the assets that I have bonded in Osmosis are assets that I would be holding anyway, like Atom and like Luna, like XPRT. They are projects that I believe in that are also growing in value. So instead of sitting in my wallet, basically just waiting for them to grow up in value, not only am I earning money from the price of the assets going up in value, but I'm also have them in an exchange available to facilitate trades, and I'm earning this type of APR on my cryptocurrency. So I'm going to show you how to take advantage of these opportunities in our sessions together. So the real way you learn about DeFi and get involved is through hands-on. Okay, you can begin with a very small amount of money. There's no barrier to entry. You could even start with $100 worth of assets. And that's nice, whether it be $100 or $1,000 of your money that you bond into one of these liquidity pools, and you start to see the money coming in. In most cases, the payouts are every day, at least on Osmosis. And you're able to measure whether or not you're on track to receive the level of returns that are advertised. All right. During our sessions, I will help you every step of the way. My goal is to make you independent so that you don't need me. Most of this information that I share with you, you could do on your own if you just did research all by yourself. But I do have quite a bit of experience with this. I know the ins and outs. I can be of assistance, but at some point you won't need me anymore, and that'll be a good thing. If you're interested to start to learn more about DeFi and to actually implement some solutions and get started, please contact me. There's my contact information, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.